Hey guys, don't forget to check out our new merch, link in the description down below. Hey guys, Shikari here. Today I'm going to be talking about Dr. Stone. Senku specifically, he's a fun character, it's a fun show. Let's get into it. That being said, I dare say the show itself is sort of just okay. It's not a bad show at all, really, but I'm watching a science guy who's got literal power, like literal power, versus a stone guy who's got, well, literal stones. It's a fun and interesting show with real heart, but more than the story, the characters are really what drive this show. And where would we be without the number one character that really makes the show what it is, Suika? All right, number one detective. Where would our characters be without her? Probably not that much different than they are now, to be honest with you.
I can see!
I can fight!
No, I'm kidding. Obviously, it's Senku Ishigami. He's really what drives the show. You can tell just by the way how passionate he is about science and how dedicated he is to scientific accuracy. Scientifically accurate cell phone builds, scientifically accurate cola creations, scientifically accurate reactions to superhuman teenage strength. Being the smartest person in the room is an easy ego trap. But that's the great thing about Senku. He doesn't make you feel like he is. Instead, he thinks it to himself, bottling up his emotions so stupid people don't feel like they're stupid. Pushing down his emotions like a real man. That's called respect.
It maxes out your pheromone levels, granting you a 10 billion% chance of winning her heart.
Thanks, but no thanks, Senku. I gotta do this my way.
Whoa, are you serious? You made a love potion?
Come on, use your brain. That's gasoline.
Senku's the kind of man that lets his actions speak for him. He listens to others because he knows that at the end of the day, they might know something that he doesn't know yet or hasn't thought of yet. If you ever meet someone really smart or even just someone who thinks they're really smart, you know what I mean. Side note, most people are stupid, doesn't matter who they are. That is what COVID has taught me. Doesn't matter your position, morons are morons. But thanks to Senku's upbringing, he's turning into quite a respectable young man. And how could he not? He's got a father who's got zero blood attachments to him whatsoever, but his father does whatever it takes to provide his son with everything he needs, everything he could want to follow his dreams. Is there any way to set a better example than that blood is not everything? A lot of times giving your kid whatever they want can lead them to grow bored of it and even spoiled. But Senku's father's work ethic, I think, rubs off on Senku really well. Or, I mean, you can even argue that Senku's work ethic rubs off on his father. Maybe it's some kind of weird feedback loop. But whichever it is, it's clear it's working and it keeps Senku dedicated and committed to what he's set out to do. In fact, Senku is so dedicated that biology can't faze him. Boobas can't sway him.
Oxtail millet ramen, coming up.
Are you the man who made all this incredible food for us? The one called Senku? So what kind of girls do you like?
The kind that can pump a ton of oxygen into my furnace.
At a very young age, Senku learned that he could get a lot more done with others than alone. That they can complement his flaws and him theirs. If you've ever seen or know Rick from Rick and Morty, you know what I mean. Rick is an extreme example, but he's the kind of genius that rubs it in people's faces. Like, he belittles them so he can lord over their shattered self-esteem that he broke. So he feels superior. Some may listen to these kinds of people for a time, especially if they are smart, but the moment they fail and others smell blood in the water, people will gladly tear them apart. A lot of the time, I'm not really on board with the main characters of anime, and I get it, why they're like this, but they do tend to be good guy characters, doing good guy things, and never really doing much wrong, at least in the shonen world. This is great if you're actually this kind of magical person, but most people aren't. I'd rather see a main character who makes selfish decisions and honorable decisions, maybe sometimes favoring themselves over others, because that's kind of how real people are. And maybe they learn from their mistakes. Dr. Stone doesn't do this at all. But unlike most goody two-shoe characters, Senku does make a ton of mistakes, which keeps him humble. He has a firm understanding that mistakes are the stepping stones to greatness and doesn't let that stop him. And when others do things that Senku didn't think of, He praises their smart thinking. He doesn't feel the need to always be right all the time. For Senku, it's a love of science and progress above ego. It's really easy to be drawn into people like this, especially when they talk about their passions. You can hear it in his voice in the way he's just so enthused about science that it's an unwavering pursuit of knowledge and progress. Senku is very confident in his abilities, and honestly, you can't claim half the things he does in a stone world if you aren't. But that never translates into cockiness, even when it might be scary confidence at times. In fact, Senku has something a lot of other MCs are missing, and that's charm. Senku is super charming and charismatic, and even funny when he wants to be. He kind of transmutes that whole nerdy, awkward, can't talk to people stereotype. And he's nerdy, but he's also kind of cool. And then there's Tsukasa, the monkey man or half-ape creature high school child. Whatever his nickname doesn't matter, because his campaign is just as irrelevant. Now, Eric already talked about this, so I'm not going to. But what I will do is take a quick look at Tsukasa himself. Tsukasa reminds me of Thanos, but with regular rocks. The place he's coming from isn't totally wrong. Why would you want to bring back bad people to continue doing bad things? But his approach makes him into a bad person. Honestly, I think everything that Tsukasa is saying is just an excuse. It's just a reason for him to take power and hang on to it ultimately. He knows he can pull others to his side. He knows in the world of stone, the strong win, and he is very, very strong. I get where Tsukasa is coming from. He'd rather be king of the junkyard than a commoner in the wealthy kingdom. The problem with this is that the commoner of the 21st century is pretty much as good as, if not better, than the king of a junkyard. Tsukasa has deluded himself into thinking his goals are pure, that his intentions are good, when he's simply a guy who has a taste of being on top, of being in control, of having power. And like it's stated in the show, science equalizes. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that. If you didn't, sorry. End card.
Hi there, Eric here. I see some of you have yet to subscribe. You see this face? This is the face of a starving African child. For as little as 1 subscription a day, you can save this poor child from starvation. Think about that while you watch another video. Thanks for watching.